Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Victoria Benyon, and the founder of the Victoria Benyon Podcast Booking Agency. And you're listening to The Best Guest, the podcast for business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs who want to harness the power of podcasts to grow their platforms and increase their visibility. We're here to support you on your journey, bringing you actionable tips with each episode. Now, let's begin. Hey everyone. So today I'd like to talk to you about the benefits of a podcast interview strategy. Our clients are often surprised by how many benefits there are to actually being a guest on podcast. Usually reach is the first thing that they think of. How many people are going to hear my message? How big is this podcast? But there are far more benefits than the initial reach. You know, podcasts are timeless. Podcasts can be downloaded at any time, and for the listener, it's fresh content no matter when you recorded the episode. Your podcast interviews are assets. They're evergreen and something that you can benefit from months or even years down the line. One of our clients told us that a listener discovered one of her podcast interviews a few months after she recorded it. And as a result of that, she contacted our client and bought her course, which at the time she was selling for £3,000. Podcasts are also a really intimate medium. Think about it. When someone pops in their earphones to listen to you on an episode, you have their attention for 30 minutes to an hour. And what this does is really help them to get a sense of who you are. It builds those know, like, and trust factors, which are important when someone is thinking about buying from you, or even just taking their relationship with you to the next level, such as joining your Facebook group or your email list. They connect with the audience in a way that social media just doesn't. You think about how fast moving Twitter is, how long a tweet lasts. One of the benefits of this is that it can really shorten the sales process for you. Listeners can come to our clients pre-sold, as the listener I mentioned who bought the £3,000 course from our client. Something that you may not have considered also is the exposure that you'll also get to a host's email list and social media following. That's right, hosts often have really big email lists or substantial followings on social media. Often, the lists and the social media followings are much larger than the podcast audience, but all of which they promote their podcast episodes to, which introduces you to larger audiences. Podcast interviews can help improve your SEO. What does that mean? Well, backlinks are created when one site links to another. You may also have heard them referred to as inbound links. So when your podcast interview goes live, you will usually get at least one backlink to your website from the show notes. Now take a minute and imagine if you were interviewed on 50 podcasts. That's right, that's at least 50 links, all leading to your website. Backlinks are really helpful for driving traffic, but they're also valuable for SEO because they signal to the search engines that they vouch for your website. And this can help your site to rank higher and increase its visibility in search generally. So this is why it's important to be consistent with a podcast interview strategy. Your podcast interviews are an investment which builds over time. Now, another benefit is the connection that you make with podcast hosts. A lot of the times, the connection you make as a guest with the host turns out to be really valuable. In fact, I go as far as to say it's often the most valuable aspect of this strategy, because sometimes the host will become your client. Sometimes the host will become an affiliate. Honestly, we've seen this time and time again with our clients and even ourselves. For example, we once sent a pitch out to a podcast host in the leadership field. With the pitch, we sent our clients interactive PDF, which contained further information about him, topics he could talk about, questions the host could ask him, and also his new book, which he was promoting. As well as booking him as a guest for the show, the host asked him to deliver a series of webinars for the podcast host company. And hosts can introduce you to other hosts and open up speaking opportunities. Often you'll connect with hosts who you really hit it off with. One of our clients was recently asked to return to a show for a further interview as they'd had so much fun recording the first. The host turns out to be a great connection for our client as he runs a large annual conference in her niche. Another client of ours was asked to deliver a 30-minute training to the host's mastermind, which was filled with his ideal clients. These are all really common benefits from a podcast interview strategy. And another thing, frequently hosts invite our clients to collaborate with them in different ways, like these, and on Facebook Lives to their groups or on Twitter chats that they run. All of this not only helps to increase your visibility, but it also helps you build your brand and grow your business. And the fact that you've been a guest on numerous podcasts really helps build your authority and credibility within your industry. Because with visibility comes opportunity. When a potential client searches for you, your interviews will show up, which builds your authority and makes you look really credible. The potential client can then immediately listen to you talking about your subject matter, which, as we've mentioned before, helps them to know, like, and trust you. And then, having gained an insight into you, the person behind your business, they may choose to follow your call to action at the end of the interview and take the next step in their relationship with you. Just think for a moment how much that could be worth to your business. What is the lifetime value of a customer? As a busy business owner, you may find it hard to fit content creation into your schedule. When you embark on a podcast interview strategy for a sustained period of time, you will benefit from a constant flow of new content, which you can repurpose for your blog, your newsletter, and across your social media platforms. As well as sharing the interview itself with your list and on your social media, you can choose to use parts of the interview to form a blog post or a newsletter or other content. Some hosts will give you a transcript of your interview, which is really handy, but if not, you can get a transcript of yourself. Actual podcast interviews are easy to slot into your schedule, no matter how busy you are. If you can find just 30 minutes to an hour, that's all you need. They're so convenient. I mean, think about it. You don't have to go anywhere, and it doesn't matter where you're based in the world. If you happen to be traveling, you can still fit them in from your hotel room. So I hope you found today's episode of The Best Guest helpful. If you're ready to start getting booked as a guest on podcast, or would just like to know more about how we can help you, contact us at victoriabenyon.com. We'll leave a link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to the Best Guest podcast today. I'll talk to you again in the next episode.